It's one of the biggest weeks, I think, in the rugby calendar. It's first test, British and Irish Lions, the Wallabies
I
line.
thought you talked about our first night out in Brisbane.
That's one of the biggest days in the calendar.
Huge.
Let's move it on to selection.
I think your two pilotos been slightly better so far on this.
I think
What worries you about Australia?
snakes,
Spiders,
jellyfish,
crocodiles.
Pop quiz, okay?
yeah, pop quiz, go shoot.
Loser goes in the pool.
What?
And I can say the pool is sitting at around about 3 degrees.
Zara's arrived at the right time.
Has she?
Yeah.
Hi Zed, how are you? It's quite cold up here.
Into the final moments, Alex Payne trying to keep this side going forward. Haskell takes it on now with just relentless chat, largely about himself. And there's Tindall to add the finishing touch of glamour and World Cup winning stories. That is how you podcast.
Hello, Dream Team. Welcome along to this week's episode of The Good, The Bad and The Rugby, proudly sponsored as always by our very good friends at Continental Tyres, the official tyre partner of England Rugby. Whether on the rugby field or on the road, you can trust Continental Tyres for exceptional safety, performance and grip. And would you believe it, GBR has well and truly landed down under. Hask has been here for 20 minutes?
Yes, 20 minutes.
You have come straight from the airport.
I have, and I look fresh to death.
Peach Melba tracksuits.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable actually. I like bright
So-
colours, statement colours to offset just the general.
Just bought one of those for Lena, actually.
She's got great taste. Her and I are the most fashionable kids around. Anyway,
And on that note, it's very nice to welcome along a 2017 British and Irish Lion, the former Scotland captain, and the man who put Finn Russell on the rugby map. No pressure coming into the next 3 weeks, therefore. Greig Laidlaw, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Yeah, no pressure at all on young Finn's shoulders, but yeah, it's great to be here.
And you've been holidaying in Oz, you've been taking in a few sights and sounds. You bumped into Team Tindall up in Hamilton Island.
Well, we didn't actually bump into each
Oh, you
other.
didn't?
No,
He
we
sent
didn't
me a
quite.
message going, "You on Hamilton Island?" I was like, "Yeah." And he went, "Oh, my missus swears she just walked past you." I was like, "Yes, I am on there."
Right.
And then we still didn't get to catch up.
Mrs. checking him out.
Yeah, probably.
Keep your eyes yourself,
Yeah,
babe,
exactly.
eh?
No, we didn't quite get to catch up, but
Yeah.
we're flying up at roughly the same time. But Tins was on one of the small little planes. You know, I was on a commercial one.
Got you. That's how he rolls. It's very nice to have you with us. I think we're going to contractually obliged to talk about 10 minutes worth of rugby, but you can already sense the excitement is very much palpable because we are here for the next 3 weeks. We're going to be right in amongst it. We've got so much to get stuck into throughout our time here in Australia, haven't we, Has?
Yes, the test matches kick off this weekend in Brisbane and we'll be with you every step of the way for every twist and turn for what should be an incredible 3-match series.
If you are not already subscribed, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on any preview or reaction shows. As ever, please give us a like and let us know your thoughts in the comments. But please, 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 as always, be kind.
We are going to get into what is a massive, massive week. It's one of the biggest weeks, I think, in the rugby calendar. It's first test, British and Irish Lions, the Wallabies
I
line.
thought you talked about our first night out in Brisbane.
That's one of the biggest days in the
That's
calendar.
huge.
It is
This
going to
is
get
big.
quite
This is
lively.
where the first story starts.
Yeah.
Someone's ever
This is how we
excited.
This is where November live tour starts.
We've got a new book to write and a tour to go on, and we need
We've
some
written the
fresh
book.
stories.
We've written the book, although the author can't get hold of, can't get hold of Tindall.
Well, Tim didn't read the last one. I did. He was like, "Did I do that?"
Yeah.
So
Sort of.
speak to Hask, he'll make
Don't
my
blow
stories
trade
up.
secrets. Can I just ask you, what do you remember of 2017 and your pride at being a British and Irish Lion?
Well, my good mate Haskell here, he was on that tour as well. He was still
We
talking
bonded,
as
didn't
much.
we?
Yeah,
We
we did.
bonded.
Obviously,
A lot of
some people are extroverts, some are introverts, mate, as you might see from
Yin
the
and
show
yang.
tonight. But
He was definitely one that sort of looked at me initially and was like, "Oh, dickhead," and then afterwards was like, "Still a dickhead, but less of a
Can get on-
dickhead."
can get on with him.
I could have a pint with him as long as no one sees us together, kind of vibe.
yeah,
So it's
less
just
of
like-
a dickhead,
Yeah, yeah.
dickhead Hask.
Oh, fine,
I
okay.
quite liked you, mate.
Oh, thank you. I love it. You know, I love you too. I mean, I have to love everyone when you've got a personality like mine.
Yeah. But what about the pride of achieving a place in that Lion squad?
Well, it's huge, isn't it, for the players and for everybody involved. And I think you can see, or certainly the messages coming out in the media from like Faz and stuff, you know, how special he holds that in his sort of philosophy. And I think that's obviously what he's really trying to develop behind the scenes, and that real team first, putting the team first regardless whether you're picked, really supporting your teammates and getting that almost like that old school vibe potentially back, and maybe having a few beers, hopefully, you know, behind the scenes, and the boys can just, you know, have a bit of fun as well.
We should just say, for those of you who are watching on Spotify and YouTube, welcome along to you in particular, you will see that we're currently poolside at the very stylish Voco Brisbane City Centre. Cracking evening in Brisbane, perhaps not quite as warm as we might have liked, but it is still, and the anticipation is building. And I think it's probably fair to say it's a far cry from the icy welcome we may well be getting next week at the MCG in Melbourne, Hask.
I was not told about cold weather, but
Yeah.
well, we're being properly looked after. The Voco is part of the IHG Hotels and Resorts family, who are the official hotel partner of the British and Irish Lions tour to Australia. So wherever we go, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, we're staying with IHG.
And would you believe it? IHG have got 6,000 hotels.
Did you say 6,000?
No, I didn't. I said 6,600 hotels
goodness.
around the world. And IHG One Rewards membership is a game changer. It's free to join, and you can even bag rewards for major events using your points.
Well said.
Do we
Well
immediately
played.
get platinum level points?
Do we
You get a
immediately
penthouse for reading that
I
quite so
actually
nicely.
have got a beautiful suite. I walked into it, yeah.
Oh,
I
did
walked
you?
around it, took me about an hour. It was great.
nice.
Have you got the same?
No, I'm a couple of doors down.
Oh, are you?
unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Being
sorry.
looked after by
I'm
someone
so
else,
sorry.
but I couldn't get in on the One Rewards
It was
scheme.
really weird when I got in there.
We can't do this, but you're staying here.
I am sitting here because there's like because they've got there's a champagne bar. My barman had an old-fashioned waiting, and
Oh,
there was like
wonderful.
there was a jacuzzi. It was a
Was
bit.
it-
Just
was
walk
it a
straight
Remy
into the bubbly hot
I was
tub.
like, that jacuzzi so. I haven't got my 10-metre swimming badge. I'll never make it to the other side.
Was it a Remy Martin old-fashioned?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, we tied that in beautifully. I
see
actually
what we did
exclusively
there? I
served
like the
Remy
way you
Martin in my
reacted there.
suite.
You've obviously been out here for a few weeks. Did you do the Waratahs game?
Yeah, so I landed Saturday morning, went to the Waratahs game Saturday night. The Allianz Stadium is a cracker, to be fair to it. I don't think they had practiced pouring Guinnesses because there was a big queue at the bar, but otherwise, the game day experience has been great. The atmosphere in that stadium was outstanding. Yeah, again, I've been bumping into people as I walk around everywhere you go, but we know that we're bringing 50,000 fans over here, so it's going to be. The atmosphere is always going to be great.
Can I ask each of you then,
You can do what you want.
relative to what the Lions need, how big has the test been so far? How useful have these warm-up games been?
I think it's sort of planned out like we thought, as I said
Yeah.
before. And it was really disappointing, wasn't it? The game at the weekend against the Anzac team,
Yeah.
that was a shocker. So I think that's something that needs to be looked at going forward. And
But for no reason. Why couldn't they have been together for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
It turned into a Barbarians, which it didn't need to be.
Yeah.
It could have been, after Super Rugby was done, they went immediately into camp and you released the right amount of players. I have heard that British and Irish Lions had a say over who could play in that game, whether that's true or not. But that's something I have heard.
That's some great spice.
But why wouldn't you give them 3 weeks together? So you can't do it in a week. We know that it literally was a Barbarians team, and having played in a Barbarians team against the Lions and got pumped 58, whatever it was, I know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It was in Hong Kong though, so there probably was a bit more extracurricular going on. But it doesn't work, and that doesn't help. I don't think it helps the Lions. It doesn't help the tour.
No. Well, and I think that's a really interesting point, because I think I'm right in saying the Lions are contracted to the current cycle of South Africa, Australia, New Zealand until New Zealand in 4 years' time, and then everything is up
Yeah.
for renegotiation again. There's a lot of talk about a French tour. Lots of people will sort of throw in Argentina as a potential stop-off as you go. Whatever is going to happen over the
Hell of a
next 3
journey to
weeks.
go via France to Argentina.
Well, maybe
Who's
via
flying the
Vegas
plane?
as well.
Yeah.
But if you're the
Yeah.
biggest touring team
Yeah,
in sport,
agree.
let's go touring. I can remember putting something out probably about a year ago, which is and it was on social media, so
LinkedIn,
I'm not
was
sure
it?
I ever checked it again. But I think it is such a shame that there hasn't been a game against Fiji or possibly Samoa or the New Zealand Maori or whatever it is. And I just worry, whatever will happen over the next 3 weeks will happen. But I think what we have seen over the tour so far means that there is a real question mark now over whether the Lions can solely tour Australia and whether those teams can back up. Actually, funny enough, it was the same 4 years ago in South Africa.
And
Test
it will
series
be
epic,
the same in
but the
in
warm-up
New
games are a
Zealand,
waste of
because
time.
everyone wants to now protect players. Player welfare is at the top of everything that we're supposed to be doing. So they're not going to let those players go and play in those midweek games. So you're playing backup players, and that is just the fundamental. So you're either better making it, like you say, bring in other international teams and play it in the mix of it. So you're actually getting some tough Saturday games, and then maybe play provincials on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But look, it's not the end of the world, but it needs to be looked at, I think, a little bit
Right.
more seriously.
And I think just on that end as well, like the Pacific Island teams definitely, I think, probably deserve a crack, don't they? They've given so much to the game over the years. You know, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, you guys will all be the same.
Yeah.
Some of the best players you've ever played with
Yeah.
from these places, and they never get given the limelight. So I think, to try and involve them, and obviously geographically they're so close as well. So it's easy to do, certainly, when you're here in Australia and New Zealand. So.
I mean, I see it kind of two ways. I think, firstly, we always talk about developing rugby, and we know England sides never tour, the Pacific Islands, and I think we definitely need to do it. I think the Lions, if they've got an opportunity to renegotiate part of it, they need to stipulate you've got to play your internationals, because it becomes pointless otherwise. I would say I see it slightly differently in regards to how prepared they are. Yeah, the games, they haven't had rock stars and superstars, but look how many injuries we've had already, how attritional it would be. Rugby's rugby wherever you go. It doesn't matter how good you are, and it doesn't matter how good the result goes, it's still a massive physical occasion. Everyone in their squad has had an opportunity, everyone has played, everyone is raring to go, everyone understands the opportunity. The only differential between the two sides will be Joe Schmidt, with his analysis, seeing what Argentina did, taking the team wide, and also who you selected. I think if you pick the wrong guys in some of these positions, they can get exposed. But I think actually, with the team that I think Andy Farrell will pick and choose, he knows Joe Schmidt, he knows there's going to be a few trick plays and bits and pieces. I think we're actually not in a bad place, because everyone has had a run out and everything's physical. There's no such thing as an easy game anymore.
So just on that's very good. I can't
Blown
believe
away.
I'm about to say this. This is a very good point.
Blown away.
Because, why I say my worry is because you haven't seen any of their players. We've got one game to analyse. Like Faz and his team has got one game to look at, the Fiji game. They have got footage of every one of our players, and how good Joe Schmidt is at pulling defences apart, and what he did with Ireland. And we talked about the play against England where he'd obviously seen something, and it was back inside ball. He walked underneath the post at Twickenham. He's got so much to look at that he will find the consistencies. He can find that, and so it means that you're going in slightly cold. Whether you're feeling what Hask is saying, everything's on form and everything else, they can still have picked certain players. If that guy's playing, we know he does this, we know he does that, and they've got footage of it. So that's why it makes it hard for the Lions. But that's also what makes it exciting.
It'll be plays like, when we don't know the selection, but one of the things I think we're going to obviously see on Irish heavy side is if you were a coach and you're going for a test side and you had concerns, say, I know we talked about Matt Hansen not being involved, so it kind of becomes a moot point. Tommy Freeman might be the guy. Is that the reason you go with, say it was fit when Bundy Aki, Gary Ringrose, and Matt Hansen? Your axis of defence have all played together. They understand what's happening. When you saw Tommy Freeman playing in some of those games outside the Irish guy like Gary Ringrose, he would fly up, Tommy Freeman would hold. Or you'd have Hugh Jones would go up, and they're reading each other. That's what comes over play. Tins will tell you that. So that's why you would back more Irish players to play together, because you've got the consistency. The fact I think that Ringrose is obviously out. The fact that we think Matt Hansen's out now changes it, but it adds a bit more jeopardy, because those are the little bits of chemistry that come after time. He'll always tell you, about him and Will Greenwood, how that to read off each other and everything else like that.
Let's go back 20 years.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, long time. When it's black and white footage, Also, Will Greenwood would know every time Tim's got the ball, Greenwood knew he wouldn't get it because he couldn't pass. So that's the magic.
I mean, for people to say that, there's a lot of people who can say that. Isn't there?
Which one of you's got a World Cup winners medal?
You're actually very right. I at least threw 60
Can I just? I
passes in
want to
touchdown.
stop squabbling. I want to ask Greg, if you're using gears in a car, what gear are the Lions going to this week from where they have been? Is it fourth to fifth? Is it third to fifth? Second to fifth? In terms of speed of game, in terms of the challenge that's coming their way?
Yeah, well,
how big a step up is it?
It's going to be a step up because, as Tins was talking about there, the coaching,
But is
Joe
it
Schmidt,
a
Laurie
massive?
Fisher.
Because what you hear is that the Lions have got no idea what the first 30 minutes of the first test is like relative to what they've been playing.
Nah, because the players are all used to it, mate, in terms of that stuff. So, the players will get up to speed real quick, and I think the Aussies will be... They'll be a bit worried, I think, the performance of Fiji. Obviously, that's why they played that game, to try and get some rust out, but they weren't great. Fiji probably should have won the game. So I think the Lions are in a lot better spot. They've got a lot more probably cohesion already within their team. Potentially that injury to Ringrose as well. I think Hugh Jones is on great form, and I'm sure we'll come on to that as well. But I'm sure he would have started with Aki and Ringrose before now. But I think Hugh Jones deserves his place in the team. Hopefully, he's going to play from a Scottish perspective.
I just want to go back to the point you were making there about the Irish contingent.
Yeah.
We've actually had a question on that this week.
Do you know what? Great point,
Segue.
Alex. Yeah, we have got Continental Tyres question of the week from Adam Pring. Sounds like a made-up name, definitely not. With so many of the first team likely to be Irish, are we at all concerned about them choking?
Great question, Adam. One team, all four into one.
Ooh,
Tins, you've had a love affair with those
Kitty's got
green
a
over the
claws
years.
out.
That's
Do you want to take the zinger?
That is mean. Relevant though.
How many Irish are we going to have?
Possibly 9. And we've got 14 Leinstermen in the entire squad now, which is more than England. So, I mean,
Yeah, but
I don't know. But you will have...
front row, Furlong
And Sheehan, Furlong.
and Sheehan, yeah.
Possibly likely McCarthy.
Yeah.
Probably Conan.
Conan.
Would you go Van der Fleer?
Yeah, no.
No,
I think
okay.
he'll start.
Conan,
James
Gibson
Higgins
Park.
Yeah,
I don't
James
think
Higgins.
he
No, I don't think we'll start.
Aki, 6.
No.
Wait,
I wouldn't pick Aki.
yeah, I know you wouldn't, but I think it's more likely that he will. And then you'll probably have James Lowe,
James
James
Lowe,
Lowe,
definitely.
and you'll
Yeah.
probably have Hugo Keenan.
Yes.
So I think you'll have 8 of
I wouldn't have
15.
Keegan either.
Okay. Do you want to answer the question
Well,
from
yeah,
Greg,
go on, go on,
nevertheless?
go on then. Tell
Well,
Adam,
a
put Adam in
strong
his
Irish
place.
contingency.
Adam, you're a
in the-
muppet. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so let's say you would have gone 8 there. I've gone 6.
Okay.
Am I worried about the big game? That's basically what he's saying.
Yes.
isn't it? I think
Because they never got past the quarter-final of the World Cup.
Final and
And-
Leinster keep losing finals. And,
Quite a lot of them, actually.
Well, they won the URC
I mean,
this
it must
year.
be frustrating.
Well, I won
for
the
Irish,
URC,
but-
which this is important.
No, I think it's a completely different environment now, and it's that thought wouldn't. Well, we're now putting it in their minds, but that wouldn't be in their minds in any way, shape, or form. And I wouldn't worry about it. It's the best of the best. Combining the best of that island squad with the best of the other home nation. So no, a different vibe, completely different, unique experience, and I don't think that falls into the window.
There was a little stat which actually we used at the weekend on the telly box. 32 players, 26 players, 31 players is the total number of players used in the last 3 tours in a test match. But the point being, there is a lot of rugby to be played, and a lot of the players chosen will end up in a test
Yeah.
shirt of
Well,
some sort.
judging by the fact the amount of players that getting injured and being called up
I
and
know.
stuff like that, it's like...
Well, can I touch on that exact point? So in the last week, Darcy Graham, Tom Clarkson, Rory Sutherland, who's already a test line, of course, Ewan Ashman and Jamie Osborne have all been called into the Lions camp as sort of training cover plus. And obviously Jamie George has come in from the England Tour of Argentina because of the unfortunate head injury to Luke Cowan-Dickie. In 2005, Clive Woodward took 100 players to New Zealand. Everyone said this is ridiculous. And then we had the Geography 6 in 2017. Are we now actually quite comfortable with the fact that modern rugby requires players to come in and drop out in order to keep, test match players fit and fresh, training numbers on the park, etc.? Or is this still a bit of a gripe for the purists?
No, I think it's something you've got to get on board with. I think Jamie obviously trained. Quite a few of those guys went to those training squads before the season was finished, so there's been a bit of interaction, there's been a bit of planning around it. I think they've done a pretty good job of throwing people into the mix so they know what is expected. I mean, Jamie George told me that the training when they were out in warm weather training was unbelievable. So he's had that experience, he'll understand what they're trying to do, how they're trying to play, and so will some of the other guys who are coming in. But it is the nature of the beast at the moment. Short tours, you're having to double stack games as well, so some of the boys have played 4 out of
Alex
6
Mitchell,
games.
he's been
Yeah.
involved every game, hasn't he?
Yeah, so when you're pushing your body that hard as well, it's not an easy thing, and things can break down. It's a unique thing to do.
What are your memories of that Geography 6 thing? Was it a thing at the time?
Well,
I mean, what you hear within the camp now is they're all
I'll be
very
honest with
comfortable.
you. I'll be honest with you. A few people made an absolute meal out of that and made a real big thing of it. And it might surprise you, but I couldn't have cared less.
Who?
I don't. Well, I mean, a couple of players didn't want to come off the field when they came on. I mean, I'm not throwing them a bus. That was their prerogative because they didn't want them to get on and let them play. Like, I just think, I don't know. Well, it's just my personal mindset, but I'm always. It's so very easy to look at what other people are doing and things out of your control. It's just better to focus on what you're doing and worry about yourself. And I think when you got on those tours, I was obviously called up late to Billy, but before the tour started. Rugby's a particularly attritional game at the moment. You can understand why, logistics-wise, funding-wise, the fact that rugby is a bit of a shambles, that you wouldn't pick some players that were already over there or near them and about to bring them in. And if they had the opportunity to do it, then why would you shatter and shit on someone else's dream for doing it? And why would you be worried about it? I just think it doesn't really matter. It doesn't diminish from the tour. And I think as long as it's made clear. But I think what you've got to remember is that the Lions has evolved. We had Finlay Calder on. We were talking to Scott Hastings for that Charles Tyrwhitt show. I was talking to Gavin Hastings at the airport today. God, love the Scottish lads.
You with your
About
Rolodex.
big friends. Gavin kept saying, can you ask me for an autograph? These people don't know who I am. I was like, Gavin, calm down. I made that joke. He's like, I didn't. I was like, well, It's not what I heard, but anyway.
I've actually got a brilliant Gavin Hastings story from 2005. I'm not sure whether this can go in or not. I was walking along, I was doing Vox Pops on Wellington Harbour ahead of the second test, the Dan Carter game. And Gavin Hastings came and tapped me on the shoulder. I was 25 and had no idea which end of the mic to use. And he said, "Can I borrow you?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Could you possibly interview me in front of this helicopter?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Could you do an interview with me in front of the helicopter? And that means I then get a free helicopter ride around Wellington Harbour."
Professional.
And I said, "Yeah, okay." So we got the camera and I said, "Thoughts on the game?" He said, "Oh, well, Lions to get close today, but New Zealand to come through." I said, "Lovely. And if you enjoyed the tour?" And he said, "Yeah, great time down here in New Zealand." I said, "Lovely, thanks very much." Thanks, then. He hopped in the helicopter and went off on a free guided tour around Wellington
He did the same thing
Harbour.
to me at the
I was like,
airport.
"This is the greatest, this is one of my icons."
He stood
What's
in front
happening?
of some Johnny Walker whiskey. He goes, "Can you interview me because I want a free bottle of whiskey from duty free?" I had to do the same thing. I didn't,
Right.
but it sounds like a good story.
Right,
But
yeah.
no, but so he was on the thing. I was just talking about the kind of Lions tours, and they, those guys, you picked from teams that were playing just solely for their country. Welsh people played in Wales, Scottish people played in Scotland, English played in England. It was a lot smaller. It was heritage. It was kind of amazing. Now you're playing just. It's such a traditional game. The expectation is you're going to have to bring players in, and it doesn't diminish because it's still a magical moment. And being even part of it is important. So I've got absolutely no problem with any of it. I mean, I don't know if you got.
No,
upset about
mate, it's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
modern
think,
game.
it was all blown out of proportion at Geography 6 back in 2017,
Yeah.
and the players just got on with it, man. That's the best thing, that they'll be welcomed in, and they've been selected, so and everybody will respect the coaches for that as well, and the boys deserve to be here.
Okay, let's move it on to selection and start with probably the first name on the team sheet, Finn Russell. Best
Maritoje.
10, Maritoje, and then Finn Russell.
Let's Gedge.
Nice. Well,
Best 10 in the game right now? Big call. Mathieu Jalabert, Barrett, McKenzie, George Ford,
Mwanga, mate. Jeez, Mwanga.
Mwanga.
Oh, he's up there, isn't he? He's definitely in that conversation. I think he's in the best form of his life. You look at him playing for Bath this season, into that Lions team. I think he's playing brilliant rugby. Understands when to pull the trigger, when to be aggressive, when to use that kicking game, really matured into that role. And it's just awesome for, certainly for me personally, to sit back and watch him and still enjoying his rugby as well. And that's one of the best things about Finn. He just loves it.
Are you saying, Matt, going, "I made this"?
Yeah. But was it
Still hanging on, mate.
it was interesting. I spoke to someone and said that the fact it's gone to Bath, how good that combination's been. I don't know who was, maybe
Ben
it was on
Spencer.
but him and Ben Spencer, but also his utilisation of the kicking game. Because do you remember when he first came, even when I didn't really know him, and he came on in that Hurricanes game, and he was okay, but he juggled a couple of balls, tried to force a couple of things, out the back door offloads. He's still got that in his game, but he seems to have refined that now to know when to throw the big looping passes, when to make the no-look passes. But he's happy to kick, he's happy to play, he's get that percentages, but he's still got that X factor, and is also utilising people around him a little bit more. And I think that just shows the maturity, really. And you see it a lot with 10s. They sort of come in, and as the game progresses, they kind of refine it. I mean, George Ford, for example, absolutely tearing up trees for England in Argentina,
God, he was
over
good in
100 caps.
Argentina,
But he's always been fantastic at attacking. It all depends, the personality you've got in front of you, the personality either side of you, what your game plan actually is, and whether you've got the freedom to play. And it looks like, with Scotland, he was sort of given a bit of a blank check at times to do what he wanted to do. With the Lions, you've got to be a bit more refined, I think he's looked really good. I think he also, you want a 10 that can have those high pressure moments, but also shrug them off when it balls up, because you don't want your 10 to play inside themselves. If you're going to try something, it doesn't come off. But you equally need them to have the sense. Like I remember there's a Danny Cipriani against Italy. I think the week before he played somebody, and he'd gone to chip the ball over the top, and he got intercepted, and they scored. And then he started for England against Italy, and basically did the same thing, chipped it over the top, ran around and caught it this time. Just showing the fact that most people wouldn't do that because you've fucked it up once. I just think Finn Russell's got that real vibe about him where he can just keep playing and he can play sensibly. And I hope that he kind of gets that recognition and builds into it, because there's no point having that mercurial talent without matching it with silverware and solid wins and bits and pieces. And Bath's the first part of the journey, really.
Yeah.
He ain't going to win shit with Scotland.
Yeah, and I think his greatest asset is the fact, I think he's a baller, so he doesn't need structure. He doesn't necessarily need to be told the picture that he's looking for, the perfect setup, the ball's out the back. He doesn't necessarily need that. He can sit there, look at a defence and decide what he wants to do at the line. And in a Lions game where you are playing with odd combinations, you're not used to exactly how players are going to run. their lines and do everything. You've got to be able to adjust and move on the fly, and that is one of Finn Russell's greatest assets, is he can look up, see something, whether it's crossfield kick, whether it's a half crossfield kick, doesn't quite need to go there, it goes a bit shorter or just in behind. He can spot those things, and he's not scared, as Hask said, he's not scared to do them, and if they don't come off, he shakes it off and carries on, and it just doesn't affect him. So that is what you need in a Lions 10.
Where do you see most growth in him from the player that came through with you?
His arms.
To the
No, definitely
there's not a lot of
his
growth
arms.
gone on there.
No, but it's got the most growth potential.
Where
his arms.
the
meant
most
from
growth
where-
could come.
Yeah.
Yeah, his arms. They're types pieces of spaghetti.
Yes.
Well,
But he uses them to great
Well, he
effect.
He does.
But from the player that came through, and I was saying this, I remember Glasgow winning the Pro 12 in what must have been 20, I can't remember what it was, 15 I think it was.
around.
And he was headphones and he was dancing pre-match, and it was all very. But now he's almost gone from the flare shot player as standard, and I'll do a bit of the basics if I have to I know what my basics are, but I can use the flare if it's on. Where else do you see that kind of real maturity in his game?
I think, as the lads touched on, it comes with time, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Time and understanding pressure moments within the games, and I think that's where I'm, I guess, very happy for Finn. He's really just grown into that role, and it does take time to be in that playmaker role. You touch the ball so many times in a game, you're going to make mistakes, and it's probably one of Finn's biggest strengths is his ability to shrug things off if he does make a mistake. And the second one is probably his ability to bring other people into the game as well. You think back to the last Lions tour in South Africa, he comes on that third test. The Lions have been struggling to play against that Springboks blitz defence, and his Finn's ability with his vision and his speed of pass to get the ball into space really helps others.
That was a
essentially play their
defining
best
moment
game.
for him, really, wasn't
Yeah, I
it?
think it was,
When everyone had wanted him to play, they'd gone conservative, and he came on and absolutely tore him apart, and just shows that the ability to play against an opposition that blitzes, that gives you zero space, but you've got good guys around you that you can.
And I think
And
with Finn on that as well, just quickly, is like, it's always been this chat about, his sort of boom or bust, and I've seen that progression come through now for years, and for Racing Metro, he was bloody unbelievable as well. Like, I thought, watching him play, and so he was great over there. So he's almost been building for years, and with a bit of luck, get him through these games. I think that the time is now for him.
And having been here for a week and obviously doing all the work, because you guys have been swanning it around back home, I've obviously been out talking to everyone, talked to Catty about the New South Wales game and the pressure that they sort of put on at line speed. So if that's going to be something that maybe runs up to the Wallaby camp in terms of trying to get that line speed and put those ball handlers under pressure, I believe that he can stand in the face of that like he did 4 years ago in South Africa, and actually take that, come on and wait for those gaps as long as the players run it around it.
Can I ask you one other thing, which I think Ronan Agarth was speculating on, which is we talk a lot about combinations, and you need time as a combination to understand what's going on around you. It seems extraordinary how quickly Finn is able to click with Jamison Gibson Park inside him, possibly Bundy Aki outside him. He seems to be really, really comfortable, regardless of who's around him, because he's got that deep innate understanding of what everybody should be doing, and the instructions come from him.
Maybe not so much come from him. I think again it's probably credit to Finn, isn't it, around like his knowledge of the game, and he's a great communicator, Finn, and that's what I always felt with him. He's really easy to listen to, and he demands the ball when he really wants it, and I think he's such a cruisy, relaxed guy as well. He gets on with most people. He's, as I said, real relaxed. Doesn't take things too seriously, mate. And I think their boys respect him for that as well. And most of the time he does his talking in the field, relaxed in the week, but game time comes, he steps up and helps the team.
He has got a proper bank of incredible work behind him, and it's obviously. It's going to be fantastic to watch what he does in that red shirt. To turn that round to the Wallabies, what we're hearing is that Tom Lynagh is going to start at 10. Noah Olise out of contention. James O'Connor has come in as the veteran and one of the options. I know Bernard Foley was being considered as well.
Well, Bernard Foley was supposed to play in that Anzac game.
Oh, was he?
And then, I've been over here a little while, ear to the floor. An email miscommunication was suddenly why he didn't play in that game.
What does that mean?
I run into.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Well, I bumped into him actually in the airport because we we stay in the same town in Japan. He's with Kiboa, I'm with NTT, and I think sadly there's a few issues around insurance as well, I believe. And around
That was a similar thing with James O'Connor.
Yeah.
They should have
I think
Howden on
so.
the case.
Yeah,
They should have done.
the
Because Howden
unexpected
insure,
arises.
Howden will insure anyone except
Apart
me.
from you.
Yeah, apart from me.
But you should be able to insure James O'Connor and Bernard Foley if they want to play in the Lions series.
Well, yeah, it would have been great if you could have. Sadly not. But
So what does
I
that
think
mean? What
I
does
think
that
it's
mean?
like, well, who knows, mate? But I think it's actually a positive for Australia. If I'm being honest, in terms of, I think Tom Lynagh I think he's the best 10 in Australia. To be quite honest with you, that's just my opinion.
Fantastic. Why?
I think temperament in the term, and Andy's skill set as well. I think Lola Seo's kind of been there or thereabouts, but probably not, set it on fire. And I just think, as you see him playing Super Rugby, I think he looks the most dangerous and most complete 10 in my opinion.
Okay, interesting.
It'd
Is
be
it a
interesting
gamble
with
though?
Jock
How
coming-
little
I think
he's
Jock's
played?
great to come off the bench as well. To be fair,
James O'Connor.
I think he's done a great job with the Crusaders, and I think he will. I've been quite blown away about that. On G Brands, how much he thinks about the game, because James
Yeah.
O'Connor for a long time was that guy who everyone thought rebel, but then he's clearly not, and I think he'll come in and he seems to be enjoying those moments that he's getting now.
I think he's got a great. I think we've been on a bit of a journey as well. He seems like real switched on. Really sort of dedicated to what he's doing. He's playing some great rugby. I think as you get sort of in the latter years of your career, you maybe appreciate stuff a bit more. I think he's a great choice. I'm surprised he wasn't initially put in the
Did
mix.
you hear how they got hold of him? They were trying to email him and ring him, and they couldn't find him anywhere. And he was in. Where were they? They were
I think he was in the Gold Coast.
in
Hotels,
Gold
I
Coast,
think,
and he
a
was
couple
up
of
there
beers maybe.
coaching a kids team, and just walked past the hotel. So they ran out and went, "Oh, James, can we bring you into training?" He was like, "Yeah, sure."
What
okay,
a great
go."
story. That's one thing you'll never
That's
go.
right time,
when they
right
go,
place.
"Well, we're looking for James Haskell. He was doing some charity work with a set of orphan children, and he just happened to walk past. That would never happen. It's like, where's James Haskell? Well, probably on a private jet somewhere, just ignoring everyone.
Can I just ask you about Tom Lynagh? So amazing talent, incredible pedigree, because of course his dad Michael played in '89, won a World Cup in '91, sort of completed the game as a top point scorer, I think, when he retired as well. But having not played a lot of international rugby, is that a factor for picking Tom Lynagh at 10, or is that in Australia in particular, where they just chuck him in whether they can walk, run, or play?
Yeah, I think it's a tough question to answer because you don't know. You would hope he would thrive in that environment. If you are going to play that position, the bigger the stage is where you want to be. That's what 10s want to be. They want to be the man. They want to be able to pull those strings. So ideally, would he have had more experience there? Yes, but what a stage to make your entrance.
Particularly though, if you're talking in an inexperienced 10, if you look at, and this is only the reported Australian backline, Jake Gordon 29 caps, Lynagh 3, and I think only 30 odd minutes of international rugby. Jorgensen 8 caps, Len Ikitau 40, Sueliti 5, Harry Potter 3, Tom Wright 38.
Who?
Right. I am
Is
not.
this what he's doing now?
This will be clipped up and repeated.
Sorry, so he
which is the one
finished
you're referring to.
Hogwarts and now he's playing. Is there anything he can't do?
So
Are you serious?
Yeah.
He took out Voldemort and now he's playing for Australia. This is mental.
Welcome
Why have I
again.
not informed?
I don't look at the caps on that. I just look at that.
You've got a wizard. They're definitely going to win.
That back line is absolute rockets. The Jorgensen is just
Quick.
unbelievably fast. I think
Tormented
and Harry
England in
Potter.
November.
Is he allowed to use you can't use the forbidden
He's got to stay on the ground
forbidden
at all
curses.
times,
You
yeah.
can't use the forbidden curses.
He uses Expelliarmus a lot.
Yeah, we can't use Cruciatus. That's whoa. I'm not suggesting you do that, Harry, but I would.
Because not many people can get near it. He's just so strong. I don't see that as Ikitau is an absolute rocket as well, and hold that together. I think they can use Sueliti better, which I don't think they've found yet. His
So does that backline make you think, oh, hang on?
Mate,
Yes.
that backline is unbelievable.
Because Ikitau was
potential, that's what it's got.
I think Ikitau, Sueli gets the broad. Ikitau's like next
holds that
level.
together.
He's amazing. Kellaway, I think is great as well. Played with Northampton. He's a top boy. He obviously almost scored the try of the century or whatever playing for the Waratahs. I think the only thing with it is what hasn't been talked about in all the kind of conversation about the Lions is the scrum and Lynagh have gone pretty well. You know, I remember watching, and I've stolen that
Yeah,
from...
but against what quality of
well,
opposition?
sort of, yeah, but you can only be as good as yourselves, really. You can only deliver consistency, really, and you can only play in front of, you know, of what you're dealing with. But always the front five, I think, have done pretty well in all these games. And our you know, G brands, I was watching that, and Henry Paul was kind of talking.
Henry Paul, or Jeremy?
Jeremy Paul, one of the Pauls.
Paul.
Yeah, Paul Daniels. Paul Daniels was
Logan.
talking. Yeah,
Logan
Paul
Paul.
Logan. Yeah, Paul Hogan. Crocodile Dundee was talking about. Right, Jeremy
That
Paul.
ain't a knife.
John Paul Goutier. Right, listen, Paul, whatever.
JP.
Big mates. JP and I were chatting. I was watching him, and he was saying kind of how good the front five have been consistent in those games. I think when you're playing a young 10, right, you need to get a bit of front foot ball, and like Ikitau and those guys can give you that. Suli can give you that, but actually, I'd say if the scrum's under pressure, if the line-out's under pressure, if they go with the team that I think they're going to go with McCarthy, Itoje, Chesham, big line options, maybe, you know, some Cone at the back, they can put pressure on you, and then suddenly it's a very difficult afternoon. If you're getting the ascendancy in those areas, then it doesn't matter how old you are, because you're playing on the front foot, you're playing with time. If you're getting no time, you're getting hit behind the gain line, and suddenly guys are having time to reset and get off the line really quickly, it's going to be a very difficult afternoon. Doesn't matter who you are, and you see it all the time.
Here's a pop quiz for you while we're talking selection. When was the last time the Lions picked a same country centre combination for a first test?
For a first test?
For a first test.
Okay. So
You'll be struggling. Ask me.
immediately that would be the one where I thought I had a chance.
You're saying there's a chance?
So that'd be 01. It'd be Hendo and Driscoll.
Driscoll, yes,
But
correct.
obviously Jamie and Foxy played
Last test.
Third test,
Third
2013.
They've
So
gone
that,
very niche, first test.
yeah, I know. Well, it's all about
Just
specifics.
It's about creating the
It's
answer
just
that you
bamboozling
want.
Hask.
Yes.
What that leads on to
What's your name? Bamboozle.
is centre combination for the first test for the Lions. Are you thinking Aki and Jones? Are you thinking Tuipulotu and Jones? Are you thinking another / Farrell? I think it's probably too big a call to bring Owen into the starting 15, but Aki Jones? Never say never.
No, I would go 10, 12, 13 Scotland.
So you'd play
It's what I
Tuipulotu.
do. I think
You're
Tuipulotu
nodding.
looks better. I think stats wise, he's been better. But now that we've had this discussion, and we had a discussion before, then you look at their minutes. Has he been resting his Irish boys? Because they haven't had. You know, Hugh Jones has played 320 minutes or something, which is ridiculous. But I think he's looked. You know, his meters are better. His defenders beaten. Clean line breaks.
Well, he's had more game time.
The Scottish are winning the stat battle, and I feel that watching the game, they've played better. I think Ringrose played well, but obviously it looks like he's not really in for the count. But if you're going to go on combinations, and when the going gets tough, to quote Billy Ocean, who I did see live the other day, he was amazing.
Really?
I would stick with something you know.
You'd go double
You know,
Scotland.
they've dropped those 2 short passes in, or 3 short passes in, where they go fake to go out the back, and Hugh Jones has gone through 2 of the 3 times. First test, you know, his first game he dropped one, but I just think that just, you know, it works. So why take a chance that it doesn't work in a first test?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Would be my thing.
Do you think he will do that, or do you think he will go Aki Jones?
I think he may go Aki Jones. Yeah, I'd probably agree with Tins, to be honest. I would go 10, 12, 13 in Scotland. I'd pick Sione. I think Sione's and Hugh have been excellent, really, really good. And obviously, you know, talk about that cohesion, connection, understanding. I would leave them together, but I don't know. I've got a feeling that, you know, he leans towards slightly, again, who he trusts. He's trusted Aki in big games before in the past 6 Nations, and Aki's delivered as well. To be fair, I'm a fan of him. He's a great player, but I think Tuipulotu's been slightly better so far on this
I
tour.
think, you know, to be honest with you, I'm fascinated by the kind of the centres. I would go Tuipulotu and Jones. I think Jones has been amazing. I think he's, I obviously seen him play for Scotland, seen him play well, but I'm a big fan of his. I thought he's brilliant. Aki I really love as well. I think the interesting thing about Aki and Tuipulotu, obviously Tuipulotu hasn't played a lot, but I think looks $1 million. when he's been playing recently. The only thing with Aki is the last 2 times Ireland have needed him, he's come on and absolutely torn up trees, been a defining factor. Heroic photos, like face hanging off, strapped back on, battering people. From what I've seen with the Lions footage, he's a massive social driver, a real kind of joker and fun guy and standard setter and a leader. Your head would say Tuipulotu Jones, Finn Russell, get that axis correct, and play off it. I'd say maybe you go Aki and Jones, potentially, but I don't know. There isn't a lot of science other than he's reliable, but you could also bring Aki on because he came on and played well for Ireland again. He's an impact player as well.
That's the thing is, I think with centre partnerships, it is. We talked about it earlier. It is about a partnership and it is about cohesion. And Tuipulotu has played. He's played 320 minutes. Sorry, Hugh Jones has only played 234, but still a lot.
Good details.
But he's been effective as Tuipulotu in all those games, and I think he plays very similarly to Aki in terms of being able to put that ball out the back. I actually think it's on a plate better because he knows Finn so well, so he knows exactly where he's going to be. So just in terms of continuity, that is why I would go with it. I think you're splitting hairs about who is the better player and everything else, but I think that would seal it for me.
Interestingly, I think if you look at most sort of, and it is one of the greatest pub games out there, Pick Your Test Team, we're dealing with variations on a very consistent theme, I think, in some regard. I want to bring in, therefore, our blind side, brought to you by Howden, which is the global insurance brokers and principal partner of the British and Irish Lions, in both insurance and rugby. When the unexpected happens, Howden have you covered. Everyone is, as we said, naming their first test scores. What I want us each to do is to pick a surprise, a joker up the sleeve, something which no one else has yet plucked out of the ether.
Is that possible?
Well, I think there are 1 or 2 that you could possibly do.
Me and Tins to be called up.
That would certainly be a surprise and give Howden their money.
Yeah, an actual decent blindside. Can't run. Hopefully if they come anywhere near me, I'll flatten them, but
no,
that's in.
Come into your postcode and they're dead, but travel outside and
Can't travel. Not
well, have you got? Could you see a surprise?
One of mine would have originally. I was going to pick Mac Hansel at fullback.
Okay.
But it doesn't look like that's going to be possible now because he's injured.
Right. Okay.
The only other thing I can think that I did in my team was I put Ben Earl at 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. So with Conan and Chesham?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So no Van der Fleer, no Morgan.
No.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Or Curry.
The 7 slot is maybe the only one I think for me at the moment. I think Jack Morgan for me probably I would pick him. I think he's been excellent. He's a slightly different character, and I think he would just get the tip for me. But we've got an embarrassment of riches in that spot. But I think because Tins and I were talking before, but Ben Earl's been excellent as well with his ball carrying. Probably brings something slightly different. But I think they might go with Morgan. I don't.
Yeah.
I think Ben Earl, 257 metres, 56 carries. I mean, he's just a carrying machine.
Yeah.
But he'll still do. He's got 1 turnover. His tackle rate is definitely not up near Jack Morgan's. But if you get the balance right across the back roads, that matter. And I think if you've got Ches, who gives you the line-out option, then he works hard.
Yes.
And he'll make those tackles. He'll be a nuisance. He'll just fill that gap, and you allow Conan and Earl to just carry and go off about their business.
I think my surprise one was maybe Jamie George and Ollie Chesham if they came off the bench, the POM squad. See what I've done there?
See what you've done with that.
I thought that. Yeah.
You wouldn't start Chesham?
My personal back row I would go with Morgan, Earl, and Conan. Is what I would do. But that forsakes the line out, and I think you've got to win the set piece. And so unfortunately, they won't do that because they need 3 line out operators across the back 5, which is a shame. But I think if you played those guys, you would cause a lot of problems. And you have to adjust your tactics a little bit, but I think that'd be pretty destructive. I think they've been the best players on tour. Maybe you have Henry Pollock and
Van der Fleer.
Yeah, Van der Fleer come off the bench.
And I think that's on that one, that's what you get with picking Chesham in that 6 slot is your ability to potentially shift him up into the second row.
Because he can do you in 80 minutes, can't he?
He can give you 80 minutes, and he can shift up into that second row, and he can carry 2 back rows on the bench. So that's obviously what they looked at in that Brumbies game, and that's probably what they're going to go with.
So you've gone Earl at 7, You've gone POM squad, which I like. I'm amazed you didn't go Ben White on the bench, given you've now picked Russell, Tuipulotu, Jones.
Maybe he starts with Ben White after that performance the other day.
Good. Some selections there. Let the debate begin. Whether it's the bounce of the ball, a last-minute injury, or a lucky interception, rugby's all about navigating the unknown. That's where Howden come in. A team of experts support clubs, fans, and businesses in preparing for whatever is next in life. Because when the unexpected happens, Howden has you covered. I reckon we're going to get a bit of the unexpected over the next 3 Saturdays. We shall see. Can I just ask you as well, as a coach, as you are now, when you see Joe Schmidt go to work in a coach's box, just break down what you see in the way that he prepares. Because for the amateur on this panel, it's like, I don't know what's coming from Australia, but it's Joe Schmidt, and therefore I know something's coming. Can you see the way that he sort of mixes his potions and that there will be something unexpected from Australia?
Well, they'll dive deep in the preparation, that's for sure. And I think with Joe, he's definitely going to have a couple of things up his sleeve that he thinks it's going to work. I'm very fortunate. I'm coaching Samu Karevi over in Japan at the moment. He's in our squad, and he says, the attention to detail and stuff like that in that Australian squad, and they've done a huge amount of work around their breakdown as well. They've got the Laurie Fisher in there, mate. You'll be double ball, chase connection. You'll be giving it some of them, like the days back in Gloucester.
All the while wearing a bucket hat.
Constantly.
Oasis tribute. I love it.
Yeah. So, listen, Joe, you'll have them ready as they can be. I think you've already seen that. I think the Wallabies step up, haven't you, over that 6 month period he's had them. So, yeah, they'll be ready. They'll have a couple of things up their sleeves, a few ideas that they think can work. And he obviously knows Faz so well as well that he'll try and use that to his advantage.
What worries you about Australia?
Snakes.
Spiders.
Jellyfish.
Crocodiles.
Sharks.
Yeah.
What worries me is if they can do a job at the breakdown, they make it scrappy. They're unbelievable in transition. So if it becomes a messy game, and I think there's rumours of maybe even rain this weekend, if balls get spilled, I would say they're up there as one of the best teams in transition.
Soy Ali as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that if they can disrupt our ball and we make mistakes, which we have shown when the pressure has come on at certain points in this tour, the timing has just been then lost and we've made mistakes. I think they've become very dangerous. That they have got a very, very clinical backline, and they've got forwards to match that with the likes of Harry Wilson, McBride. They've got quality throughout that team, and I think that'll be our worry, is if they can disrupt our ball to make us make mistakes, they'll be clinical.
What about you?
I would just say I would look more in ourselves. I think the analysis should be, pretty much where we've been exposed. Argentina was taking us wide, spreading us, reading our defence, causing problems. Breakdown, not clearing breakdowns. That's unexcusable, particularly in this level, especially as things like croc rolls and all those other bits have gone out of the way. You just have to be there very close and blast opposition away, and that's kind of unacceptable. You need your second rows and your front rows hitting big 20, 30 ruck numbers per game. You need your back row players on it, and I think I would look more inside us than against Australia.
Both of you played under Andy Farrell in 2017, and what we've heard throughout this
technically
tour,
we played under Steve Borthwick.
Right, okay. But you obviously played under Andy Farrell.
Faz was there.
Faz was there. Faz was there. Gats were there, but they were sort of more memories than They were constructs. They're right. They were concepts, but it was just me and basically us and Borthwick, really.
You're not going to the Lions after party of 2025.
I'm only joking.
I'm sure you are. We've heard a lot about how Andy Farrell will get his team ready emotionally this week. Can you give us a bit of insight into what that will look like?
I think he's a very straight talker, and I think he'll highlight the opportunity that lies, I think, in front of the Lions.
But do you leave team meetings with hair standing up on the back of your neck? Do you leave with precision and clarity?
Yes,
with Faz, I think Faz is such, he's such a good motivator as well. That's one of his greatest strengths, and I think he understands people. He understands the group of people he's got, and I think with him laying it out, like, they'll be trying to do something special. They might not talk about it in the press, but they'll be trying to win 3-0, and they'll be trying to leave like a legacy for the next team, and he'll be trying to talk about that bigger picture piece, and he'll get the boys really excited. I've no doubt about that.
I guarantee towards this weekend, He'll be pulling the heartstrings. Will understand what needs to be established. He'll understand the importance of what's confronting him, and also the fact that up to this point in time, this will be the biggest challenge, and it will come down to physicality and smartness in defence and in breakdown, and the attack will take care of itself because the rest of it will be flowing. And you imagine he's going to ask people to put themselves in jeopardy for the good of the team, and that's what it takes to win a Lions tour.
Quick pop quiz, okay?
Yeah, pop quiz, go shoot.
Loser goes in the pool.
What?
Yep. Loser goes in the pool.
You si-
I'm going to give you initials of Lions legends. Whoever gets the least has to get in the pool. First one. SKW.
I know that. Warburton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sam Kennedy Warburton.
Say it. You're going to get the fucking pool.
Tins went first, mate.
That's all right,
I've
Paul.
got
Fucking
family
shit.
connections in England. My last name, believe it or not, is Kennedy Warburton. I might introduce him
Kennedy
like that on the
Warburton.
weekend.
What a nose.
Sam Warburton is double-barrelled. That moves him up in the world.
Kennedy
Way too
Warburton.
posh to play for Wales, he said. So
It's
it's why
about-
I chopped off the Kennedy. Number 2, MOJ.
Martin Johnson.
Correct. Middle name?
Othello.
Osborne.
Osborne. Number 3, BGO.
Brian Gerard O'Driscoll.
Correct. Oh my God, we've got a decider.
No!
We've got a decider. In fact, I'm going to put another one in
I thought
as
it was Bod.
No, that's Brian O'Driscoll.
Who did you say then?
No,
Brian
Brian.
Gerard
His middle
O'Driscoll.
name's Brian
Oh,
Gerard
for fuck's
O'Driscoll.
sake. Yeah.
AGH.
Hastings.
Which one?
Gavin Hastings.
Gavin Hastings, but it's Gavin's
First
not his
name?
first name.
Arthur. Arthaniel. Anal.
Andrew.
Correct. So we need a decider between you two to see which one goes in. So Greg is safe. You're through to the
Oh.
next round.
Fuck you, Greg.
This
Greg.
is actually going to be
Hey,
quite
Greg.
Mate, you
Fuck you,
You were
Greg.
talking about Gavin Hastings
No,
before,
no,
mate.
I
You
don't
should've-
know. I didn't know his name was beginning with A.
JVP.
John Van Bat Porfleet.
He's not alive.
JVP.
He's
oh,
not
he's
alive.
not.
Guess
JVP.
Think old school.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm going to.
I'm going to.
Perhaps you haven't got a freaking hope in hell.
Uh,
I'll give you a clue.
suck a
This
dick.
will help.
Suck.
Middle name Vivian.
Vivian.
This is a massive moment in the history of GBR. Who gets into the? And I can say the pool is sitting at around about 3 degrees. With a Brisbane wind chill.
JVP. Who the
Vivian.
Vivian. Paul Potter.
Ooh.
Partridge.
E.
Peter. Jeff Parling. No.
Jeff Barlow.
Jeff Vivian
Oh,
Parling.
with a J.
Jeff Vivian Parling. Yeah, Jeff.
Not the
Jeff.
It's a good shout, that actually.
It's obviously a 70s one.
It's
or
a
is it-
shootout between
Yeah, I'm
us.
Is it
safe. I'm
70s,
safe.
70s or an 80s?
70s.
Who is it?
Okay, the answer was John Pullen.
Vivian Pullen.
Vivian Pullen. Are you ready?
Yeah.
JPR.
Williams.
Okay, I'll give you one more. This is the worst game of all time.
Well, how many have you got?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a shit game. This is not going to make the final show.
Oh, hey.
But the stakes are high.
You
The
never
stakes are
thought
high.
he'd get Jono.
The stakes are high. Okay, you're going to
Yeah.
give you another one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
JPW.
Wilco. Johnny Wilkinson.
Correct.
I absolutely hate cold water.
I'm quite impressed that you're doing this.
I don't want to do it.
Let's
There
be
it is.
honest, that's what it
Oh, look
was.
at that.
God, I hate it when I'm forced to get
What, and
naked.
you're telling me you came in Speedo?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you're telling me this is completely unplanned. And let me just throw my sensitive necklace.
Zara's
round.
just arrived. Zara's arrived at the right time.
Has she?
Yeah.
Hello, Zara. How are you?
Zed's here,
Oh.
right on cue.
Oh, thank God it's a cold pool.
Another day in paradise.
It's quite cold up here.
Right.
Is that what?
Is that why? Yeah.
Please don't
Yeah.
dive. Greg is sitting here thinking,
Oh my God.
Alex, help the brother out, Alex.
I got your fluffy towel, put that on.
Oh, it actually exposes
What
the lid
temperature
a
was
little
it?
bit.
Do you know the most amazing thing is the lid looks even better getting out than it does.
Tight, innit? Hi, yeah, lids are tight. Hi, guys.
The lid,
just let you
the
remind you, I am
rig's so
actually single,
tight. If only
Oh.
you could be a bit
Oh, yeah.
modest.
You should come to IHG hotels, yeah? I might be in and around the pool.
What we didn't know is the pool was heated, but there
Yeah.
you go.
And I
It's
lost
actually
my
not.
thing. Where
Oh,
did I
thanks.
stand? Right, sit yourself back down, James, as we finish the show before you
Thank
get
you.
hypothermia. We've got 3 minutes to go and 3 minutes only.
Oh, the lid stayed on?
Let me check it.
The hand,
It's still on top.
the hand shivering. but
Do you know it's
everything else is-
amazing? That is like it bounces back into position.
I know. Yeah, I'm unplayable. I keep telling you.
Right. Do we finish? Oh,
I'm
no, we've got one more
shaking
thing
a
to say. Right.
It's okay.
We've got 2 minutes before
got
hypothermia
prizes.
sets in. A very quick reminder that if you want to catch every single moment of the upcoming British and Irish Lions tour, there's only one place to be. Stream Sky Sports with Now TV. That is right. Sky Sports is the only place to watch every match of the British and Irish Lions tour in the UK and Ireland. We have got a very, very good show coming to you from Brisbane this Saturday. Stream Sky Sports with Now TV. You get instant access to all the action. You can add or remove memberships whenever you want. Clear your diary for Saturday morning. Coverage of the first test here in Brisbane gets underway at 10 a.m. Kick-off is at 11. Head to nowtv.com and stream Sky Sports instantly. It's a lot of fun being back in the big time. In contrast to this absolute shower
Can we
show.
just talk a little bit
Let's really make the
slower?
most of it. We're going to be back on
We've got
Thursday
something
with
about a
reaction
tour,
to
haven't we?
the team news. The test team is going to be announced on Thursday. We've got a full pre-match preview with G Brand's very own Jeremy Paul, Ron Paul, Pope John Paul. A couple of other Pauls might be there as well, but Jeremy Paul is definitely signed in. Logan Paul. We've got some tickets available for a live audience show in Sydney at the establishment on Thursday, the 31st of July, ahead of the third test. Hask is meant to be reading this, but it's currently got lockjaw, so we need to keep going.
I mean, it's the best time of our lives.
I
It's shut up
will
for
be
the first
there,
time.
along with James O'Connor, if, of course, he's not named in the Wallaby outfit. We'll get that team news for you as well, up on the socials before too long. Lions Wallabies this weekend. Check out the link in the episode description box if you'd like to come along to our Thursday preview show. Lock in subscribers. Keep your eyes peeled for a very special guest that Hask is having on the show this Friday.
Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
No,
No, good.
Please stop talking to me.
Something about rugby. We'll talk about it.
Good, the band and rugby
Yeah.
are going back on tour with the Lock In Live.
Yeah, we
Here
are.
your
We're
dates,
October 29th Warwick, 30th Birmingham, 31st Cardiff, November 2nd Oxford, 3rd Reading, 4th Gilbert. Get your tickets, myticket.co.uk. The link is in the episode description box. Get them now. Yeah? It'll be great. Thanks for coming. This is a Folding Pocket production. Folding production. Email info@goodbye.rugby. A bloke called Tom made it. We'll see you all later.
Greg, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Talk us through the rest of your holiday plans. What else have you got coming up this week?
Bit of time back down here on the Gold Coast, and then we're off back up to Sydney.
Quite right too. We'll leave it there. Do get in contact with us if you like on our
I
social
didn't
media
tell
channels.
you about
Search at
the.
Good Bad
I didn't
Rugby.
tell you about
you?
State of Origin either.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
amazing.
I'd love to
Use
hear
the
it. Go on.
email info@goodbadragby.com. Could get the defibrillator in for Hask at this point. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review and follow us for the latest rugby updates. Thank you as always to our sponsors, Continental Tyres, the official tyre partner of England Rugby. Remember, if you're looking for an award-winning tyre that can keep up with your every move, look no further than Continental Tyres. We're a folding pocket production. Show 1 is done. Whether we make it to show 2 or not remains to be seen. Stats and facts provided by the great Russ Petty. This episode was produced by Tom Ebbers. Hask, to the oven.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Well done, everyone, for making it through. We're up and running in Australia. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.
You've been listening to The Good, Yay, The Bad, and The Rugby, Oof, with Alex Payne, James Haskell, and Mike Tindall. Thanks for listening.